there are a few stars in AEW that get me quite like PAC, and it was so awesome to hear the commentator team just absolutely go all in and praise this guy. I think that this match, going into it, the way that Ryan Nemeth has been presented on Dark and on Dynamite before, there was some questions on, is this a showcase for Ryan to continue to build the Hollywood hunk, to continue to build, him as a new emerging star? And quite definitively, within the first 30 seconds or so, it became real evident that Ryan's place in this match was, and again, this is a huge compliment to him, he has it in his bloodlines that he's an incredible seller. This dude can make anybody look great. I thought this match made PAC look like $1 million, dude. He absolutely, some of the offense that was going on in this match was just hard hitting, the kicks, the speed. You have a guy like Ryan who's a great athlete who could keep up with PAC. This one was nonstop action. Huge fan of this match.
Absolutely, and it was definitely needed. It was a dominant performance, and very welcomed, hands down, for him. Just to, not necessarily, you could call it a squash in a way, but in a way, like the commentator says, to continue his legacy of brutality. And it's no secret that so many people, Kenny Omega talked about it, Alex Reynolds on our interview yesterday talked about it. They are saying, both of those people saying PAC is the best wrestler in the world. And pound for pound, there's no one better than him. And you see what he can do in the air. You can see what he can do on the ground. You can see what he do on his feet. It just, the announcers put him over tenfolds. And like you said, it was amazing just to hear that. And he deserves a push, and he's a vital part of AEW. And I really hope that we see him next week in some form, and just really continue the momentum. And
me too.
This definitely for me is an elite, because having PAC just essentially just destroy someone who we've seen a couple times already.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just some enhancement, even though Ryan is not officially announced. But this is the PAC that we want to see, and continue to see.
Yeah, I mean, PAC has been so ingrained in this greater feud with Eddie Kingston and Phoenix and Butcher and the Blade and Lance Archer that, it's easy to forget what a unique singles star he is. And that's, and I love tag team wrestling, that.
Right.
But there's something special that happens when this dude is featured, when he has a platform where he can show what he's capable of, because man, his offense, the pacing of his matches is unlike anything that I've seen as a lifelong wrestling fan. Right. I've been preaching to you for a long time that this guy is my favorite wrestler in the world. I think that he is every bit as good as a Kenny Omega. I think that he's talent-wise can sometimes get overlooked, but his blend of power, I mean, you look at like his striking ability, how sick some of those kicks are that he has.
Echoing and just thudding. Yeah.
I mean, you combine that with his like that seething anger. I mean, right from the moment he comes out of the tunnel, you see that this dude just wants to rip somebody apart. He has that anger inside of him, and then you can do that with a dude who can do the Black Arrow, which is, I mean, his acrobatics and his high flying ability combined with his power it's a rare thing. It's a very rare thing. We talk about our love for his partner Phoenix and what an incredible acrobat that dude is, and some of the stuff that he can do is literally jaw dropping. But to be able to do that with an extra probably 30, 40 pounds of muscle on your frame is just, to me, I've run out of superlatives to talk about PAC. He's just that special. And that's why it was so cool to me as a fan. I'm honestly, sometimes you question as a fan, man, am I biased? Am I just a mark? And you start to wonder like what your if you're onto something or not, right? If you know,
Mhm.
because I realize there's a lot of people who have their favorites, you know.
Right.
But when you hear JR and you hear Excalibur and you hear Shivani throughout this match, just continue to praise him, continue to highlight what a star he is. And then, like you talked about, his peers. I mean, you like our interview with Reynolds is something that like I'm still beaming about when Reynolds talked about. So no
Tune
doubt
in
about it.
7 p.m. Thursday.
That interview is to this point, that one has left the biggest impact on me during our time here in Dynamite Download. I know you geeked out hard about Johnny Silver. And Thunder Rosa was our first interview, and it was really special. And we believe in Thunder. But Alex Reynolds is sort of that underdog story and incredible mind for the business. And as I've gone back and I mean, I'm a big fan of his at this point. And all the more reason why I'm a big fan of his is because he said that PAC's the best in the world. So I loved it. This match was a great showcase for him. No doubt about it. It was an elite for me. Again, I want to emphasize Ryan Nemeth, no doubt. Like, he knows how to play a crowd. I have to say, his facial expressions, his ability to sell, they've got something with him. Now, I don't know where he'll end up shaking out in the grand scheme of AEW, but I certainly think, like we saw a Peter Avalon earlier on in tonight's show. There's no reason that a Ryan Nemeth can't be a regular on a dark, can't be a regular in as far as like that heel that gets under your skin that you want to see get punched in the face. I think they got something with him, and this was a great showcase for both athletes. I think that anytime you're in the ring with PAC, you're going to get tested, and I thought he came out looking really good.
And you're going to get beat up.
No doubt.
Because he rarely loses. And, I mean –